Well, hello out there in YouTube land, and welcome to podcast number 21 by us, the Studio Rats. In this episode, Paul still doesn't have coronavirus, James still doesn't have coronavirus, and Dan, well, we're not sure.
So I'm Paul Drew.
Now, can you do it without the so? You mustn't start.
I don't know. Do you know what? It's almost like it's one of those. It's one of those things.
I'm Paul Drew.
Okay. I'm Paul Drew.
I'm James Ivey.
I'm Dan Hawkins.
So
he's Dan Hawkins, and he's got a bit of a rocky nose.
So last week's podcast was James hasn't got coronavirus, Paul hasn't got coronavirus, and Dan hasn't got coronavirus. This week's episode is probably going to be called James hasn't got coronavirus, Paul hasn't got coronavirus, Dan's wearing a scarf, so he must have it.
And Dan's in denial.
Dan's at home wearing a scarf.
He probably doesn't have it, but who knows?
Yeah, okay.
I don't think I have it. No, the world has gone crazy since our last. When was our last week? Was it?
Oh, yeah, mate, we did one. Yeah, so we're going to try and do a podcast a week, which is and also we're doing something different. So we're filming it this time as well. So hopefully,
hi, Mum.
So everyone wave.
And no one told me, hence this mess behind me.
Look, have you ever seen such a messy room as Dan Hawkins' room there?
Well, I can't really comment because, quite frankly, the only reason you're not seeing the mess that's behind me is because my camera's angled up slightly. So.
Yeah, you've hidden it, and Paul has told me about 10 seconds before recording I'm filming it. So, I mean, look at this. What am I supposed to do about this?
Oh, well. Okay. Well, it looks nice. As I said to you earlier, it looks
up.
Yeah, you've been stitched up, but it does look like a mad professor's study. That's what it looks like.
I was explaining to you that these are called books, these things here. You may have remembered them from school about 40 years ago.
He never went to school. He's a guitar player. He never went to school.
Yeah, I didn't last long at school. That's true. So what I thought we'd do today is, sorry, Dan, you don't know this as well, but we thought we'd
let me know. Can't wait to hear this. Can't wait to hear this. What are we doing?
Well, this is the organisational skills of the Studio Rats podcast. It's just, that's what it is. It's just, so we thought we'd try and do a podcast on ways to inspire people during this lockdown. So what can people do to keep themselves going? What can musicians do? What can studio guys do while they're locked in at home or locked in their little bedroom studios? What can they do to keep them sane?
Okay, right. We can start with. Can we go with the obvious stuff first?
Yeah.
Go on.
So the obvious stuff is, first and foremost, you can do some blimmin' practice. Because let's face it, hands up, when was the last time anybody practiced?
Boo.
Actual proper sit down and do any scales, arpeggios,
it's for losers,
all that sort of.
Mate, you'd love that.
It's not for losers. It's good stuff.
Hawker, you must love that because it's you practice in modes and some weird Arabic scale and stuff. That'd be something you'd be well into.
Well, honestly, I mean, I don't want to make light of it at all because it's a terrible, terrible thing what's happening. And I, along with probably the same as you guys, I know James had big work cancelled last week. I've had everything cancelled.
I've had even more cancelled.
Yeah, and everyone has. But apart from that, it's really been no different to me. I just stay at home and just spend hours and hours working on blog posts and videos, and nothing has changed for me. And we can get onto that later because I've got some suggestions for things, and I've also got two questions that I bet you guys know because on Facebook I've seen every musician I know is just in free fall now and in semi-panic because it's going to be really tricky times. Yep. A lot of people are setting up ways to do even live stream concerts and playing and things like that, but also teaching. And what people are having a lot of trouble with is setting up a good situation where they can do a lesson on Skype and have the audio, for example, routed to the students' speakers. I bet you guys might have some good ways of doing it.
Yeah,
there are ways of doing it, but it often requires a second machine.
Right.
Unless your interface, your audio interface, has a feature called loop back, which allows. So I used to do online mix critiques.
Yeah.
For people, I mean, it's slightly laughable, but when people are learning how to use Pro Tools or DAWs, it can be helpful, not necessarily sonically, but to be able to point them in the right direction. So why have you got a reverb on every channel? Have you not heard of buses? That sort of thing.
Yeah.
So what I used to do was use an interface with loopback in it, which basically takes the sonic output of your computer, so your Skype audio, for example, and can route that into your DAW channels so you can record it. But as soon as you can do that, you've got a single point of monitoring. You're not trying to monitor your computer audio and your interface audio at the same time. It's all coming through your interface.
Yeah.
So for example, we're on Skype now, and you guys are hearing me through the inbuilt microphone in my laptop.
Yeah.
I'm hearing you through Pro Tools that's on my laptop running Skype, and Skype is looped back through Pro Tools. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
The all important term in this is called loop back.
And you
a lot
can
of
get
the
that, can't you? That's an actual company, is it not? Loopback.
No, loopback is the term they use. So Focusrite do interfaces that feature loopback. The new baby one actually, which I was really surprised about, is the new Audient Evo 4. Baby little tiny thing, 99 quid. 2 in, 2 out, but it also has a loopback, like a stereo pair of loopback channels. So if you're recording, so say for example, you and I were in the same room, Dan, and Paul was on Skype. I could record a microphone in front of me, a microphone in front of you, and I could record Paul's Skype channels through quote unquote loopback. Very, very cool feature. A lot more interfaces have it now. There are various ways to do it, but that's the best way to do it using one machine. Otherwise, you need to look at 2 machines, 2 interfaces, mixers, and all sorts of craziness that just makes things too complicated.
Interesting.
Okay, yeah. That's been the big thing that I've been, I've seen 10, 15 musicians asking about how to do that, because that's, everyone's getting on, Skype lessons and consultations and so on. I think that's only going to increase, isn't it?
I mean, Skype audio is so much better than it used to be.
Yeah.
The other one that's very good, which a lot of companies use for conference calls, is a thing called, I'm just going to check what it's called.
Zoom, is it?
Zoom, that's the one.
That's
yes.
the one.
It's very, very good. You do pay for it. It is a premium thing. But hey, if you're charging for lessons, then
I think it's free if it's under 45 minutes or something like that. And then if you have the free version, you get kicked off after 45 minutes. Then you have to come back on. I think that's something like that.
Okay.
But I've heard,
but audio wise and picture wise, it's very, very good.
Yeah.
There's also a really useful gallery view, which means all the people who are in the call, I don't know what the number limit is, show up along the top. And then the person who's speaking comes to the forefront in what they call gallery view. Works really, really well. So if you're demoing something on guitar and you've got a number of students in your virtual lesson, as they play and make noise, they would come to the front so you could see and say, no, that finger needs to go there, that one needs to go there, you're picking that wrong, that sort of thing. So but that's certainly, if you have a half-decent microphone built into your PC or Mac, that's a good way to go.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So practice your instrument, learn an instrument. What about mix with the masters? Because James, you've obviously done mix with the masters. You've done the physical one, but they've got an online tutorial thing to show, all these top mixers and how they did certain things. And so talk about that.
I think it's fair enough to say that, all of the, let's call it the, how can I phrase this delicately? Because obviously we all make tutorials. Let's call them the theatrical companies. Let's call it that way, and you'll see what I mean in a minute. So there's Mix with the Masters who make beautiful looking stuff.
Yeah.
Masterclass are another one who make things that look absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
And Pure Mix are another one who all their stuff shot really nicely. It looks really well. It's edited really nicely. In a very theatrical way. Now, there's nothing wrong with the sort of tutorials that you and I do, Paul, where it's sort of screen cap stuff and there's a bit of this and a bit of that. But what they do is they spend a lot of money on crew and gear and spend a lot of time on lighting, things like that, just to make it all look very pretty. Their stuff is, I think it's great value for money. I mean, I'm personally subscribed to Masterclass
Yeah,
because it's not just music.
Oh, have you seen the Timberland one?
No, but
Yeah.
it's the
That's
next
what I
one I'm
wanna
going to
see.
watch.
Yeah,
it's the next one I'm going to watch.
Awesome.
yes.
But I've been working my way through the Armin van Buuren one, sort of the trancey one, and the Deadmau5 one.
I did the Dead Mouse.
I did the Deadmau5 one.
I think his one's actually quite slow going.
Why is your face? Your face went a bit strange, Paul.
No. You see,
it was because he doesn't understand dance music. That's what it is.
No, you're joking. No, you're absolutely joking.
We can see your face now. So
no. So Deadmau5. I was a big fan of Deadmau5, and I just found, I just found it a little bit hard going. But the Timberland one looks brilliant. I'd love to see that one.
And the other one I want to watch is the How to Score for Film with your friend of mine, Paul, Mr. Hans Zimmer.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
and there's a load of good musical ones. The Timberland one looks really, really interesting.
Yeah.
I'm actually quite into the Gordon Ramsay ones at the minute because I'm quite into cooking. I know that's quite
Alice Waters. I did that one.
Nice to know we've stayed on subject.
Well, but no, I mean, there's nothing wrong. Actually, another great one is if you are a subscriber to the Slate All Access Pass.
Yeah,
the Slate Academy stuff is really good.
Is it?
It's really, really good.
Oh,
again, you have to.
Oh, he coughed.
It's all right. You've can't
probably got
catch
it now.
It's not that sort. It's not that sort of virus. The Slate Academy stuff is looks really, really good. I'm not a huge fan of CLA.
Why?
Let's just park that there. But his mixing style, and he's a very good communicator. He gets across his point, and he let's face it, he makes a great noise.
Oh, he's amazing. He's an amazing mixer. Without doubt.
Can I throw a spanner in the works?
Yeah.
And bring up another cliche of talking about the elephant in the room. I think, from what I've heard and from what I'm reading, musicians left, right, and centre are cancelling subscriptions as fast as they can due to the lack of money that they're going to be earning over the next. So, I mean, yes, so true. Some people will be able to do these things, and that's great. I have to educate yourself. You've got lynda.com. Who else have you got that've got free courses that you could do? How
have Production Expert, of course. How can we not mention that one?
Of course, you've got Studio Rats YouTube channel where you can learn about all kinds of pedal settings and amp settings from Mr. Paul Drew. But we need to make money for musicians, don't we? We need to, and I think that was the thing. Teaching they can do. What else can they do to make money? Pretty much we're talking online, aren't we? Because self-isolation is going to come in. You're not going to be able to go anywhere, really.
Well, how about just looking around your music room, your studio, whatever you've got, and just seeing what you need and what you don't need, and just getting rid of the stuff you don't need.
Having a declutter. Yeah. I mean,
it's obvious, but
remember this, and this is one of the things on the expert sites we were kind of musing over. There's going to be a lot of people with a lot of free time. Now, it's funny you say about people are cancelling subscriptions. Sky, Netflix, Amazon are finding exactly the opposite.
Yeah, and they're only £10 a month, so you're not going to cancel those things really. But you're going to be cancelling your gym membership. You're going to be cancelling. Possibly if there are people trying to get into pitching music for TV and library, and maybe they've got the Slate Digital and things like that. They might need that, but that might be something to go, because, I mean, it's thousands and thousands that full-time musicians are going to be losing over the next few months, isn't it? And thousands.
Yeah.
And it's obviously we've got listeners from probably all around the world, haven't we? But in the UK, I'm not sure if there's much governmental sort of provision for self-employed yet. There's talk about universal income.
There's
and
lots
like
of talk about it, but no one's actually said anything hard and fast how much we're going to get. And let's face it, it's going to be a nominal amount, and the number of hoops you're going to have to jump through to get it are going to be, it's going to be like dog trials or whatever. When they jump through a million hoops. It's going to be one of those sort of scenarios.
Oof.
But let's not say. I don't think it's all doom and gloom just yet. I think there are an awful lot of things being put in place. You know, there are proposals in government. I say I'm in no educated place to really comment on this, but you know, there are people talking about protection from rent arrears and all those sort of things. So if you don't own your own house, I mean, the banks are being very communicative about saying, look, if you need help, contact us. We're not going to foreclose on you. We're not going to shut you down just because you slip behind if you talk to us.
Yeah, same with loan companies and things like that. I think another thing that everyone should be doing if they can is remote sessions. Now, I've been doing it for 10 years. So, I mean, I had 5 this week, and that's pretty much because I'm established doing this. But if you've got any equipment that you can do that, you need to set yourself up. You can use soundbetter.com, Air Gigs, I think is another one. I've got a friend who's even just put himself up, even before this kicked off, he put himself up quite cheaply on Fiverr.com, believe it or not. And he got some work through that. So I think, anyone and everyone should set themselves up for that. And obviously the other thing is
teaching. And you don't need, you look behind me and behind Paul and actually behind you as well, Dan. You don't need an absolute shed load of gear.
No,
what you need is, if you're a horn player, you probably need the mic you use live. And you probably need a reasonable interface. You don't need thousands of pounds worth of kit. If people want, we know the magic that can be done in the box after the event. If it comes through a bit muddy, well, there are plenty of things you can do to. I can't believe I'm going to use this out loud. It can be fixed in the mix. It's all about the performance. If you want a certain player to play a certain part in a certain way, and that player is not available to you, make it happen.
What you do need for the online session thing is you need to be. People need to know what you've done, and if you haven't done any remote sessions, just point them to the work that you have played on. Get maybe a little website. Again, you can get websites done for Squarespace really cheap. You need a place where they can go to see what you do. You need to get out there and email people, friends, composers, maybe offer half-price things. You need to be doing a lot of that now. And that's the thing. Another thing I've been doing, which is kind of on topic, I've got this session loops site that's coming out soon with drum and I shouldn't say drum and bass. It sounds like the genre.
Bass and drum.
Bass and drum loops. And we're looking for beta testers. And I've been communicating to try and find 25 people, and through some email lists, people have been sent to me. And some of these people are very established writers, and others are kind of coming into it. And the number of times I am now dealing with musicians, via email, and it's been quite shocking, the experience of dealing with some people and what they say and
like what?
How unprofessional they.
You don't have to name names, obviously.
No, I won't mention names.
Yeah, you do.
It was really, really funny. What we're asking people to do is just get some of our bass and drum loops and stick some. Paul, you did something. Stick some guitar over it. Just showcase the loops. It doesn't take long, and we're giving people we're giving them lifetime membership to the site. It's going to be worth hundreds for them. And one guy, and we also need them to fill out a Google form just about the experience and some pricing advice and things like that. And one guy was like, "Yeah, I'm interested in the lifetime membership. I'm hoping that the Google form, though, isn't very long and involved and doesn't take too much time." And I just yeah. So going back to the remote thing, this is all online, and honestly, probably 50% of that world is offering a solution to your client, being on time, being really communicative, and just giving them what they want on time. And the other half is obviously playing and having the gear is a tiny amount. You don't need, as James said, great gear to do this. You can get things really cheap these days. And I think most musicians will already be set up for this, but getting the work, touting for work, hustling for a bit, I think everyone's going to need to do that. There are plenty of musicians who are great players that have been gigging for ages. They're not going to have any gigs. Maybe you can use some contacts in your gigging circle, people that already do this kind of thing, producers. People are going to need to do that. And just get together a few clips of what you do and be prepared to get back to anyone who is interested quickly and professionally.
I think it's fair to say that musicians are actually their own worst enemy for this sort of stuff.
I've learnt that over this beta testing.
They are on the whole. This is going to make me very unpopular, but hey, why stop now? I'm shocked. A lot of gigs these days pay half decent money, and you say, right, I need you there at time X. And you say, oh, I'm the so-and-so. Do I need to be there at that time? Yeah, because that's the call time.
Yeah.
And then they wander in half an hour later. What you want to say is, if this was James Brown, I appreciate that I'm not. I'm James Ivey. You would be losing gig money. You would be docked money.
There's a resemblance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, fair enough. But it's ridiculous. They are their worst enemy. I know hundreds, if not thousands, of really on it musicians who turn up. They do the gig. They're brilliant. They go above and beyond for the whole entertainment thing. You ask them, then say, "I need an invoice from you. I'll pay you when I get an invoice." You don't hear anything.
Or even returning calls sometimes and returning texts and. We're slightly off topic here. When things get back to normal, you've got to be really professional in this industry. There's so many, hundreds of kids coming out of all these colleges every year, and you have to elevate yourself above them by one part of it is just being really professional.
Yeah,
but in this time, when you're doing it online, even more so because it's a faceless thing, and often people. I was doing this. It's that annoying thing of this session yesterday. It's probably my biggest one I've ever done in over 10 years, and I can't mention what it is. Also, because if I did mention it, I could end up on the cutting room floor, as is the way with these things. I think production has been halted of this thing. It's a Netflix something or the other, and so who knows if I'm actually going to be used on that. But the point is that this the composer needed the stuff yesterday, and he sent it yesterday, and he needed it yesterday, and no one's going anywhere, so you can afford to say, I'm in the studio, I can do whatever you want, this is my speciality.
This genuinely is a make hay while the sun shines moment. How often do you get this much downtime to get your website in order,
That's true,
to all the sort of things that we all hate doing because we're all too busy making money? While we can't, or while we're limited in the way we can make money, we can get all the other stuff sorted out. Boring stuff like, it's nearly the end of the tax year in the UK. Get your receipts and all that sort of thing sorted out. We all hate doing it. God, I'm the worst person at doing it. Maybe the second worst, because Paul's just looked at me and gone, oh.
yeah.
But you know that because you can see him. It's a good thing. Having a bit of downtime. Come out of this the other side better than you were when you went in. And I know that's very easy to say, but you can't just sit there with a beer in one hand, a whiskey in the other, and drink your way through this, because that's not going to help.
What? Can I say something? I think this is going to end. It will end at some point. It's going to end. So Absolutely. This is the time. There is no money. There is no money for musicians at the moment for the standard musician. So this is the time you need to network, for one thing, and this is the time you need to do stuff for free. I think this is the time you need to help. We need to help other musicians. We all need to help each other. If someone needs something, let's do it.
I'm putting it out there. I'm putting it out there right now. If someone needs a drum track or drum tracks, I'll do the first one for free. Yeah, I'm putting it out there right now.
Yeah, and if someone needs like mixing advice or guitar, any guitar stuff, just give me a call. Someone wants to talk through stuff. I'm about to have a Skype call or whatever.
But bass too, but also I've just realised I've actually learnt so much about setting up websites and what to write on them, what pages to have. So if anyone wants any advice about that, again, hit me up or through Paul or whatever. Because as Paul says, absolutely right, couldn't have said that better myself. This is the time we all need to be helping each other, and we just need to get through it, really. And I definitely think with the right attitude, as James said, you can come out of this much better than you're in it. But it is just this period of time where musicians aren't going to be earning money. So just, get in contact with your bank and whoever you're renting from, and everyone's in the same boat, really. So I think we will get through it, and it will be over. But this is the time to network, to set up your website, to have all these other side projects and
it's the
income streams
downtime.
going.
It's the downtime we never ever get.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
use it wisely.
So true.
Absolutely.
Right, shall we move on?
Yep.
Please.
Let's move on. Right, because we've depressed everyone.
I don't know. Actually, I think we've gone into that and come out the other side quite smiley. To be
Okay,
honest.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say.
I think it could be. I mean, it's not a positive thing. It's a crap thing that everyone's going through, but we can.
But everyone's
Everyone's
is
going through it. We
through
can
it.
help each other, and we can get through this, and it will end.
Talk to your friends as well, because you might. I think a lot of musicians might think they're in the same boat, but actually, a good friend of ours, Danny Mills, he called me yesterday just to see how I am. We've got a gig next week cancelled, and he's getting stuck into his helping the elderly around his community, and he's just a really great guy like that. And he took the time to, he did call me to say the gig's off, but he was also, checking in. So, do that to your friends, and you never know, they could help you out with a contact with someone that might be able to help you with some work or some. I've even seen people streaming, all these rock choirs and things like that. People are doing that. So, lots of things that you can do, and it's all going to involve a computer, isn't it, really? So get savvy and ask your friends if you don't know anything about it.
Yeah, definitely. So what we're going to move on to? Do you want to move on to new gear? So gear that we've acquired. Toys. Yeah, should we do toys first, or should we do like gear news?
Have you got any gear news?
Yeah, I have, because okay. So there's a couple of things that I think have come out this week, and I will get this. We'll get this over and done with fairly quickly, because I think the new gear is more fun. But there's a couple of things. So Kemper have brought out the cabinet, spelt Kabinet, at last, because
Nice.
because and I'm showing it on the screen now. So yeah. I'm going through all the different pictures of it. Oh, it's the wonders of modern technology, Dan. I can do this. So yeah, you
He's
can't
a bass
see it.
player, mate. Remember.
Oh yeah, you can see it.
Can you put a mirror up so I can see it?
Yeah, I should have planned for that, shouldn't I? So yeah, basically it's, Kemper have been touting this for probably a couple of years now. And as with Kemper, everything takes ages to come out. So basically Kemper have designed this cabinet you can plug your Kemper into, and it can make your Kemper sound more ampy-like.
Are you paid for every time you say Kemper?
Kemper,
about 10 times.
No, unfortunately not. And I'm not a Kemper user anymore. I got rid of my Kemper. I just got fed up with it. So
Was it a Kemper?
it was a Kemper. Yes, I sold my Kemper.
Did you lose your temper at the Kemper?
Oh, that's you've ruined this now. You've ruined the title. Okay, so that's one thing. It comes with this speaker, so it's supposed to make your full range cabinet sound more guitar amp like. How well that works, I don't know. And the other thing is the Fender Marauder custom shop. Now the Fender Marauder. Oh no, this is the daddy. So the Fender Marauder came out, I think, in the 60s. And it's a one-off custom shop that I think they're going to start to make into a production model. And do you know what gold foil pickups are?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so it's got gold foil pickups. But the thing that makes this thing the daddy is that it's got like a delay circuit built into it. So as opposed to having a delay pedal, this thing's actually got a delay circuit, and it sounds, if you can go online and have a listen to the demos of it, it sounds the nuts. So highly recommended.
Cool.
So should we move on to what gear we've acquired this week?
Because it's definitely acquired, not bought.
Oh no, it is. No, well, it's some items are loaned items. So
Yes.
we've got loan items and stuff. Stuff that we're trying out. Dan, have you got anything?
I'm in a mode of trying to get rid of gear before this virus thing happened. I cannot get rid of any of my gear.
So here we go. Yes, me too. I've got an amp up for sale that I think at the moment everyone's on sort of watching their pennies, but like this is an opportunity for you to try and sell your gear. Go on, tell everyone what you got.
I also got delisted by Reverb and eBay. No, nothing bad. It was my fault. I just didn't realise my Warmouth has got a Fender decal on it, so I think they think I'm, But
dodgy, man.
I've got a really great 90s made in Japan Fender Jazz We're active, badass bridge. That's really great. It's about 800 quid. I've got that said Warmouth that I did a video comparing that to my 68 P bass, and it comes out very favourably. What else? A Godin. That
hold
Paul,
on. How much is a Warmouth?
About 600-700.
Okay.
Absolute bargain.
Right.
Absolute bargain. Godin. I think, Paul, you want to buy that, don't you?
No,
Yeah,
I
Paul's buying
sold.
that.
I sold my one of them.
Are you goading him with that?
Very good.
Shocking.
That's very good.
Shocking.
And an Eastwood Classic hollow body bass, which again is great. I mean, my plan was to sell these things quickly. This was before the coronavirus. Sell it quickly to then be able to buy a Hofner to then bring my tax bill down, but also have a Hofner, but just bring it down before that's not going to happen.
Dan,
but,
Dan, you're
seems
wasting.
a bit trivial now.
You're wasting an opportunity, mate. You're on video. You can even show these basses. But anyway,
Well, I mean, if you told me
Now I'm
maybe
bored now.
20 seconds before, I could. They're in the other room. I wish I could show you this. I've got my only hard-cased bass here. I've barricaded it up, like film style, to stop my daughter coming in. She tried to come in just now, and I looked. You could see it earlier on. I looked worriedly over, but it's a good defense system. It worked. Otherwise, I would have shown you. But no, I mean, look. If there's anyone out there with some cash to burn, I mean, I'd love to know the demographic of our audience, because I'd love to know how many of our audience are full-time musicians. And if you're not a full-time musician, you've got a decent job that, maybe you're at home but you're being paid well. Realize how lucky you are for that. And if you've got some spare money, I've got some incredible basses.
Some incredible ways for you to spend it.
Yes.
Okay.
Give it to me.
So James, what have you got?
Okay, so any of you who can see me on our video version of the podcast will see that this baby here is not the normal microphone that I use. Back in September, I went out to Cologne in Germany to the Studio Zine show, and I met a guy who I'd been a Facebook friend with for a little while, a guy called Drew Myberg, and he showed me a new microphone that he has developed with couple of colleagues. This is it. This is the Myberg M1.
It looks nuts.
Nice.
It is a variable pattern tube condenser microphone along the lines of kind of the C12,
251,
Telefunken 251. It's a thing of absolute beauty. I mean, it's built like a tank. It's got military grade tubes. It's got a custom K12, I think it is K12 capsule in there. This thing is an absolute thing of beauty.
And price?
A smidge under, I think it works out at 5,800 quid.
Whoa!
So it's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
I used, so my favourite mic that I've ever used was a Telefunken C12, so their version of the C12, and we used it at Abbey Road, and it sounded amazing. And that's a 12 grand mic.
Yeah,
I absolutely love how that's just your podcast mic.
Yeah, so posh.
trust me, it's not just a podcast mic. This is an everything mic.
When you were doing this, when you were pointing, I was like, wow, yeah, that is a nice pop shield, actually. What is that? I'd noticed the mic.
No, the microphone is a bit lush. I sort of got it out. It arrived early part of this week. This is the first opportunity I've had to stick it up and use it. And I'm just like, wow, this sounds really good.
Well, I'll be getting your audio because at the moment I'm only listening to you through Skype, so you sound terrible.
Yes, I sound dog awful. But no, this thing is beautiful.
Yeah, but it's great.
Attention to detail is second to none. You know, everything's been done beautifully.
So just so I can put it in the notes, what is it? Give me the name.
It's Myberg M1. MYBURGH.
You had me at
nice.
Military grade.
Yeah, and it's military grade, definitely. Anything else, James?
And the other thing I've been playing with this week is when we were at NAMM, Paul.
Yes.
We turned up to see our buddy Steve at Capitol.
Yeah.
And our friends from AMS Neve were already there, which...
Hold on a second. I'm going to bring the unit up on the screen. So
Paul, make sure you don't have that other tab open that you usually do, right?
No, that's later on.
And so they promised that they would get me their new AMS Neve RMX16 reverb, a 500 series version of the 2U rack. This is a 3-slot 500 series box. It is awesome. So it's got the original 9 programs that came with the hardware unit, the 2U hardware, and it's also got the extra 9 that came with the RMX16 remote control.
Oh,
so
nice.
you've only got, it sounds daft, you've only got 18 presets. But this is
great.
one of the most iconic reverbs ever. Everything from, the ambience, the plates, the rooms,
Non-lin.
the walls, the chorus, the non-lin, the reverse stuff, the room stuff, the delays, the image stuff. It is awesome. It's a real dive in and make some crazy noises type thing. Yes, it's an amazing digital reverb in its own right, but when you want to get crazy with the pre-delay and delay time, yeah, it's pretty damn awesome.
And again, price? Do we know?
It comes in, let me have a quick gander, at it comes in at 1,200 quid, near as.
Okay, and it's obviously stereo, yeah?
It's mono in, stereo out,
Mono in,
like
stereo.
the original.
Yeah, cool. Great.
Like the original.
Looks awesome. By the way, our listeners, don't think that James is sort of having a lovely time while everyone else is suffering financially, because these are like loaned items that James gets because James works for Pro Tools Production Expert.
So these are all loaners that will have to go back, sadly.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of if I can sell a body part, if anyone's interested in a kidney, maybe for the RMX 16. Sorry. But no, I think the mic will probably have to go back. Sadly.
Right.
I think Jen might have a heart attack if I. Keep this thing.
Definitely. So I've got this month, this week.
Here we go.
Now this is one of the best things I've ever tried. So this is the Boss Wazza Craft tube amp expander. So if you know what a Universal Audio aux is, or you know what the 2 Notes Torpedo is, it's like that, but it's it's Boss's version of this. And this thing is incredible. It sounds amazing. And the reason why I think this is possibly the best version of all of those load box attenuator things,
things,
is the effects that are in it. So even though the aux sounds fantastic and it has reverb and delays built into it, you can't route that to your guitar speaker. So you can route that to, out of the outputs that go to your interface or to the front of house. But with this, you can actually route the effects into your guitar speaker. So it negates you lugging around a reverb pedal. But also with this it's got an effects loop in it as well. So if you've got an amp, like I've got a few different amps, and I've got a really nice divided by 13 amplifier, it's a single channel amplifier, but it hasn't got an effects loop. I can then use the effects loop in this to run with that.
That's a nice idea.
It's brilliant. It's such a great, and it sounds amazing. It's so heavy. I mean, all of these load boxes are heavy, but it sounds amazing, and it's really, really, really well designed. So I've done a review of, it's going to be a few different videos, but I've done a review of it, and the first video is coming out today at 5:00. So that's Friday. What day is it? 21st today?
No idea.
Hang on, it's
20th.
It's the 20th.
20th. So yeah,
are you coming down with something, Paul?
Oh, I've got
it's got my thing. Got it.
Oh, he's got a computer virus.
Yeah. So yeah, that is highly recommended, and the first video is coming out this afternoon of that. So,
great.
Anyone got anything else to add to our podcasty?
I just think to reiterate what you said, Paul. This is going to be over. It is going to end. We're all going to, with a bit of luck, those of us who are fighting fit, other than maybe Dan, who's down with the lurgy already, we are going to get out this the other side. So chin up, crack on, and make the best of the downtime. Okay, so you're not going to be able to go on holiday, and you're not going to be able to go out drinking with your mates. So save the money and build a website or something like that. Learn something, do something useful.
Well, and I think let's all find a way of helping at least one person. So offering our services to help at least one person through, you know
how to reach us either through the website or through the Studio Rats YouTube channel, or leave a comment on any of the sort of posts or anything that you see by us on Facebook. Or have we got Twitter? Have we got InstaFace and all those?
We've got Instadoobler, but we haven't got Twitter.
Okay, don't do Twitter then, because you won't find us.
But I think that's right. Just reach out, and there are a variety of things we can help you with. Be it setting up Skype and loop back to a website, So don't be afraid to get in contact.
Or if you just want to chat, if you are locked in your house and you're bored, reach out and we'll have a chat. We'll catch up.
Nice. Yeah, that's a good idea. Okay, should we call it a day there?
Let's pull up stumps.
Okay, so I've done the so again, haven't I? Sorry, everyone. And you probably noticed this from any of the if any of you watch the videos that I do, I always start by saying so, which is really bad. So I've done it again. So I'm going to try and stop doing that. Okay. That could be my.
There's your challenge for.
That's my challenge.
For the lock-in.
Okay, I've been Paul Drew.
I'm still James Ivey.
So I was Dan Hawkins.
All right, cheers, guys, and we'll see you next time.
Take care.